Do you want a rainbow of colorful reed to choose from when weaving your baskets? Well, today I'm sharing a tutorial on how to dye rattan reed with Rit Dye so that you have access to all of those colors. In this video, we'll go over how to dye rattan reed with Rit Dye, how to bundle the reed so that it absorbs as much of the dye as possible and doesn't have any bald spots, how to prepare your dye bath, set it up, the tools and materials you need, and then how to go through the process of dyeing. And finally, we'll cover how to rinse, dry, and use the dyed rattan reed once it's complete. In order to evenly dye your reed, you're going to loosely bundle it and tie it so that it's held together. This way, when you put it into your pot, it doesn't come apart and fling everywhere. The reed really likes to expand, so try to tie tight enough that it's going to hold together, but not so tight that you limit the dye absorbing into the whole surface of the reed. It's really easy to have the reeds stick together and then those areas not get dyed. So we try to tie it loosely enough that the dye can absorb, but tightly enough that when we stick it in the pot like this, there's plenty of room for it to move around and it will sit in nicely. So I've tied these like so, stuck them in the pot, and now they're ready to go. The Rit dye that I will be using for this video is the liquid dye. You can also use powder dye. You'll just end up using less in concentrate. So where we would use maybe a tablespoon of the liquid dye, you'd use a teaspoon of the powdered dye. And you can find ratios on the Rit Dye website if you want very specific outline of how to use this dye. Rit dye comes in a lot of different colors. You can see it comes in synthetic and then all-purpose dye. We're going to use all-purpose dye because it is useful for natural fibers like cotton, wool, nylon, and more, and wood and reed are included in that list. For today's project, I'm going to pick the coral Rit dye because that sounds like a fun, bright color. For tools and materials, you're going to need some measuring spoons, either a 1 tablespoon or 1 teaspoon, depending on how much reed you're dyeing. Extra large dye pot, a lid for your dye pot, a spoon, or a stirring device. It's also a good practice to pre-mix your dye in liquid, so even if it's a liquid dye, just to make sure there aren't any lumps in it. So I have a jar for mixing. Of course, for this project, we're going to need water. You're also going to need non-iodized table salt. I'm also using this Cuisinart countertop burner. You can definitely use your stove top. This is just portable and I have it in my studio. It's also handy to have a towel around. Also, wear an apron, gloves, anything that you can to protect your skin and your clothes from the dye. This is a dye, it will dye your clothing. If you want more on basketry and other fiber arts, sign up for our email update list. We send out a weekly email with new content from the textile and universe, as well as resources and suggestions and prompts for creativity. The dye recipe I'm sharing today is for 1 pound of reed. We're going to use 1 tablespoon of liquid Rit dye and 1 cup of non-iodized table salt to our pot of water. And the amount of water that I use for this bath is enough to cover the reed bundle that I've created. Because reed is bigger and takes up more space than a fabric or a yarn might, we are going to cover it and not worry as much about how much water we're using. I have this large 30-liter pot that I'm going to be using to dye with. This allows enough space that I can put the reed into the pot and there's still room around the bundle for it to move slightly in this space. Take an empty jar, add some water from my pot here, and then shake your bottle of Rit dye. Because it's a concentrate, we need to shake it up and make sure the little particles off the bottom are nice and mixed up. Measure out 1 tablespoon. This is where you might want to wear your gloves. 1 tablespoon of the liquid dye to my jar of water here. Rinse off the measuring spoon in that water. And then this you will swish around. You can use the end of your spoon, just again to make sure that all of the particles are broken up. Now I have a pot of water here and a pot with the reed. I'm going to transfer the water into my pot with the reed. This is just for convenience. In my studio, you can totally fill this up in a bathtub or in a kitchen sink. Just beware that you're going to be moving with a lot of heavy pots, so try to work in a space that's more condensed, that you're not lifting things around as often. Now I pour the water over the dry reed first because I want to give the reed a few minutes to soak in the water so that it's evenly soaked and it will absorb the dye evenly. Now, once that's soaked for about a minute or two, I'm going to lift this out, stick it into the other pot, and now make my dye pot. So with this water, I'm going to pour my dye into the pot, swish around, try to get all of the dye out of this jar to use it up, and then stir thoroughly to get the dye to disperse in the water evenly. With a 1 cup measuring cup, I'm going to measure out 1 cup of table salt, sprinkle some in, and then stir that around. You want all the grittiness of the salt dissolved in the water. Spend about a minute stirring this up to make sure that salt is dissolved. With the salt dissolved, we're ready to add our dampened reed. Dunk them into the dye pot. If your reed has come unbundled, sometimes that happens, you will want to rebundle it before you dip it into the dye or immerse it into the dye so that you make sure it fits into your pot space. This is where I'm going to put on my gloves. We're going to need something to weigh the reed down. And often I'll use 2 bricks, put a brick on either side. You can also fill a jar with water or take a smaller pot lid, put it on top, and then weigh that down to hold the reed in place. Now I'll transfer my pot to the heating element, and again, be careful when you're lifting these. They can be very heavy. And now I'm going to heat this on medium-high, and we want this to come to a simmer, not a full boil. So we'll heat it until we start to see bubbles and it's steaming, but not a full boil. This one. Bring it to about 180 degrees if you want to test it with a thermometer, or you can eyeball it by watching for the steam and the little simmer bubbles. Then we'll pull the reed out. And be careful, these pots do get hot. A few problem-solving tips when dyeing reed with Rit Dye. The first is make sure that your bundle keeps moving as you're dyeing it. So go in and every 15 minutes or so, give it a good stir, flip the bundle over, maybe at some point undo the ties, cut the ties so that the dye can get into those layers. The layers, if they're sandwiched against each other, they won't dye and you'll end up with bald spots or the natural reed color showing through and the dye won't reach that area. Another thing is that if you're using dye and you pull out your reed and it's not quite the depth of color you want, you can potentially add more dye to the dye bath and get a darker color. But keep in mind that if you're using something like a rose quartz dye, this is formulated to be a light dye. So it's going to be a light pink. You're not going to get fuchsia pink from the rose quartz dye because that's not what it's formulated for. You would choose something dark to begin with to get a deeper, darker color. So wine comes out into a beautiful, deep, reddy wine color, and then dark brown ends up really being a nice, deep, dark brown. So make sure that the color that you start out with is the depth of color that you're going for, and that could be a dark, a medium, or a light tone. Another tip when using Rit Dye dye baths is to exhaust your bath. Once you've dyed your initial bundle of reed, you can take that out, go through the process of rinsing it, and then put in a new bundle of reed into the same dye bath and exhaust it by taking or absorbing the last remnants of the dye particles from that dye bath. You'll get a lighter color, but you won't be wasting or dumping out extra dye that's still in your dye bath. And 2 more things that I love about Rit Dye. The first is that it's often found in grocery stores, so it's easy to access, and it's usually in a general craft store, so you can find it in the dye section, typically the tie-dye section. The second thing is that you can formulate your own colors. So you can pour in the dye straight out of the bottle or the powdered form and just go with out of the bottle color, or you can use the color formula page on Rit Dye's website and come up with a personalized color by using their color formulas. And that is where they've created recipes mixing different dye colors together to create a new dye color. You can also do this yourself. If you do, please write down your measurements. I don't know how many times I've created a color that I loved and wasn't able to perfectly replicate it because I did not measure anything. Once your reed has sat in the dye pot for 1 to 2 hours on that medium high or slow simmer, you're ready to remove it from the pot. One thing that I typically do mid-process is go in, open up the ties, and make sure that the dye can access all of the reed. That ensures that you don't get any white spots or undyed areas in your reed. So I did that earlier in this process. Now I'm going to lift this out, and this part you can do over a sink so that you don't make as much of a mess, because you are going to want to rinse it off slightly. So here I'm just going to lift this reed out, allow it to drip back into the pot for a few seconds, and then lift it onto my towel. And look at how bright that color is. Very fun. I'll look it over really quick. There are a few spots that didn't quite get as thoroughly dyed as others. Looks like maybe some of the ends, but typically when I'm weaving, the ends end up getting covered anyway, so that's not going to bother me too much. And you can check your pot. Usually if you dye a pound of reed with 1 tablespoon of the liquid Rit dye, you're going to exhaust the bath if it sits in there for 1 to 2 hours. This one I ended up leaving overnight just to ensure that it was totally cool and didn't burn me when I pulled it out. So this reed is now cool. I'm going to rinse it off in a sink, make sure that the water runs clear, and then hang this to dry. If you're going to use this right away in your basket weaving, you can allow it to just drip off for a few minutes and then start weaving with it. If you're not going to use it right away, I would lay this out really well so that it's not layered up against each other, and allow it to air dry for a couple days. Because it's a thicker reed and this has a tendency to mold, I really do like to dry this very thoroughly before storing it and keeping it in my boxes. According to the Rit Dye website, it is safe to dispose of your dye bath once you've exhausted it into a sewer or septic system. I typically dump this out in my kitchen sink or bathtub. When you're dumping, try to dump somewhere that it's not going to stain or cause extra cleaning once you've dumped it. I'll allow this to drip dry on the towel for a few hours until it's no longer dripping wet and it's just damp, and then I'll hang up the pieces so that they can more thoroughly air dry, hanging up so that there's nice airflow all the way around. And that's how to dye your reed with Rit Dye so that you have a rainbow of colors at your fingertips to start weaving with. Like this video and subscribe to get notified whenever I put out a new video. And as always, happy making. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.